All right. What's the name of this goddamn episode? What is the name of this episode?
He's the name of this episode.
Oh, shit. I totally lost it. I don't know the name. Last one was Baylor. This one is...
last one was Pointy, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, 2 episodes were Pointy. Last one was Baylor.
Right.
Remember Baylor? She's by the statue and all that. Hold on. Does anybody have it up?
Right.
Fire and blood. Fire and blood.
Oh, and I want to say before we get started, yo, I know the girls won't do it, but you got to go find the history and lore. They give you the whole Targaryen takeover and like break it down kingdom by kingdom. They show how.
Wait, you know the girls what? What he say?
Wow. Yeah, I thought he.
I ain't gonna lie. This might turn into cold open.
At first, I thought he said. At first, I thought he said, "I know the girls will do it," as if he had to prod and then he kept going, and I'm like, wait a minute, he didn't say will.
No, he didn't. He didn't.
Sir.
Okay.
Sir.
Usually, and it is pardon moi. This is not a gender.
It is known. It is known.
It is. Thank you, Aunt.
No.
It is known.
Yes, it is known.
Watch the histories and lore, and A, Afro could care the fuck less, and B, Morgan's a little too busy. Yeah, I know. And Morgan's a little too busy.
Hold up.
Wait.
Afro hit you with the straight Philly girl response. You'll know. That's either you don't be knowing or denial. You don't be knowing.
Yeah. You don't be knowing. You don't know what's going on in my
or denial. It's just you don't know.
You don't know what I've been doing with my life. You don't know my life.
Exactly. You don't know my life.
You don't know my life.
Why is that
God,
so funny?
man.
You really don't.
You know what? You know what's so funny about it? Because now that even though they volunteered that response, we really don't know. She said nothing. All she confirmed is that she hasn't told you. You know, I don't know. You're not telling me. You don't know. Well, I agree with that. I don't know. You're correct.
Your assessment is correct.
She gives no short. She gives no
I'm
short.
still in the dark.
Any information as well.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. You don't know me. You don't know my life. And I'm still not admitting to your stupid little tiny little history and lore, the little baby little history and lore thing you talking about with your little baby stuff. Are you dumb?
Baby. Are you dumb?
Are you dumb? Are you dumb, Castro? No, I don't want to watch that. Dumb. No Christmas is coming up, Castro. Are you dumb? Come buck, nigga. Come buck these Timberlands, nigga. Dead ass.
White Walker perpetuated offenses are considered especially heinous. In Westeros, 4 dedicated friends investigate and discuss these vicious episodes as members of an elite squad known as A Podcast Has No Name.
I'm Afro.
I'm Ambush.
I'm Castro.
I'm Morg, and we are A Podcast Has No Name.
No name.
Podcast name.
Oh.
Somebody coughing up dragon eggs over there.
Hold on, wait a minute.
I tried to hit the mute before. I just didn't catch it.
Really?
Man's not hot.
Did you catch?
Man's not hot.
2 plus 3 is 5. Minus 4, that's 1. Quick math. No, wait a minute. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 3 equals 1. I did it too quick. I did it wrong. Quick math. 2 plus 2 is 4. 2 plus 2 is 4. Minus 3, that's 1. That's quick math. I'm almost there. It's right in there. I'm almost there. I'm almost got
Is
the
this
part.
A remix?
Yeah. Yo, look, I thought he was real for a minute because he went on this little tour like it seemed like it was real until I read he's like a comedian and just took but he was doing it real for a second. Big Shaq.
Yeah, hip hop.
I care about the small Shaq. Big Shaq, you don't know.
Big man. So wait, the name of
you
this episode is what? What, Morgan?
Fire and Blood. This is season 1, episode 10, Fire and Blood, that we will discuss tonight. And take it away, Ambush.
Okay, so fresh off the devastation of last episode, we have opening up. They show us the sword that just decapitated Ned. Again, Ned's killing sets the tone for what this entire show is going to be moving forward. It kind of ruined all of it. So we got Arya. He's being coddled. So I didn't realize who dude was until further into this episode. I was trying to peg him last episode. Like, why do we know him? Why is, he's a dude from the friggin' Night's Watch.
Tell me his name. It's
Yoren.
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 So we got Yoren, we got Urine, we got Euron.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Is he trying? Come on. So
and I think George Martin has it might be like a learning disorder when it comes to naming people. It's really weird. It's like the dyslexia of naming guys.
We're just gonna find a way. We're gonna find a way to make it okay.
He can give you layers.
That every name comes from Bran.
Right.
Every name is a derivative of Brandon.
Yes, Bran and then Dickon.
Bran and Dickon, and everything breaks down.
Everything breaks down within that.
Yeah.
And what
Bran
to
and
find
Dickon,
an actual impediment.
Like our Sam, Jack, and Richard? Are those their main names?
Yeah.
And then everything derives of that?
Dickon's like Michael or Matthew or something.
Michael.
Matthew. Dickon is like
Bran and John. Bran and John or Jack.
Yeah, we'll find out later.
Jacob's name.
Oh, my God. So he whisked
Hoodles.
Arya away. Yes, he whisked Arya away and starts cutting her hair again. I don't remember any of this crap. All this is just brand new.
You little boy.
The whole
you hear me, boy? You hear me, boy?
Yeah.
Come here, boy.
And I was just like, so this is the origin story of her being a boy. I totally forgot about this. I didn't. Oh, man. Is that just because you're small?
No, it is. I will say,
and you were
on the rewatch, it is. On the rewatch, it is rewarding. You're like, oh, this is when this happens. Like, you totally forget some stuff. You're like, oh. Like, I didn't remember her stabbing that fat boy when she was scared, Arya. I didn't remember that at all.
Oh, yeah.
I definitely do.
Yeah, and that escaped my mind a little bit. And I was like, oh, Continue. Sorry.
This rewatch is going to be interesting because we have the entire, we have all 7 seasons sitting in the front of our head right now. And as we're rewatching it and we're being so meticulous about different details, knowing how everything turns out, I feel like it's gonna be so much more rewarding. Because, we're just first season in, and mind is just getting blown all over the place. Like, some of the stuff we realized with, what's the other little boy's name? Yeah, I'm not going to jump ahead.
Rickon. Yeah, don't jump ahead, but Rickon is what you're going for.
Rickon, Dickon, see it.
Oh no, there's a good moment. There's a good moment with Rickon. We'll go over tonight.
Yeah,
but
we're going back to the names. Yeah. Going back to the names. We didn't see that. We didn't know. We had Rickon. We didn't know what Dickon was coming. We didn't know that.
We didn't know what Dickon was coming. That could be the name of the episode. Who knew a Dickon was on
the way? And we got him after we lost Rickon. Lost Rickon, gained a Dickon. That's what we call it. So she's giving her the quick chop right there in the hallway. And I feel so bad. She just watched her dad die. She's in tears. Now she's being told that she's a boy and she's getting her hair cut. There's just a lot going on in little Arya's head right now. There's a whole lot going on. And then after that, they cut to Sansa, I believe, at this point.
Sansa passes all the way the fuck out. Her dad has just been decapitated. She's been lied to by the royal family. She thought she did everything right, and that she single-handedly had saved her father. And in that moment of her father being decapitated, I can only imagine that every single thing comes crashing down on you. So she just passes out, and Varys looks back at her like, what happened? Huh? What was that fell so gently? Huh? Like, offers no assistance, no nothing. You just, hands still folded in front of him, like, so anyway. Okay.
Right.
Incredible.
So what does this mean? Does this mean that even though this wasn't according to Cersei's plan, Baelish, Pycelle, and Varys pretty much thought it was going to happen anyway? Because their reactions, like you said, they weren't as surprised as Cersei was. They were just like, oh, well, it was on the table. Could have went either way.
Right. Yeah, I think that's what they're the best at.
But also think about no, go on.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say that if I'm not mistaken, didn't some of these people serve a couple of people? They've been around for everybody was around for the Mad King and now Robert. So I'm just saying we're looking at people that have adapted to drastic change in terms of the ruling class. So
But they also just kind of have to be unbothered by it all like that, and that's what I think the two of them are the best at, never being surprised, and that's a part of that. Always, if you're always prepared, you don't have to get prepared, and you have all these birds telling you all these different things, and you have all these different scenarios, and you have you may not necessarily know which one's going to play out, but you have your finger on the pulse of all of it. So if that one comes to fruition, it's not that fucking weird. And even if it's only not that weird to 5 people in the room, you're one of those 5 people.
Got you. Yeah. There definitely wasn't a huge gasp that went across the crowd either.
Well, the crowd was there to see someone beheaded. Yeah. Like, they for sure, they were primed for a killing.
Yeah. A good old killing.
Can we say Jim Crow?
Seriously, that's what those crowds get a flyer or something that's like, see someone totally die tonight, and guess which way it's going to happen. And then you go to Joffrey, and who fucking knows? He spins the evil wheel, and he's like, today, beheading, do it, on board.
Right.
Like, imagine Joffrey with a moon door. We all think Robin's fucking nuts. Seriously. Like, give that guy some more torture options, and it's like, there'd be a whole lot more people dead flying through that door.
Yeah, very true.
So Bran's having another vision. He and the third-eyed raven, he's following him around. That's his buddy. And he shares his vision with Asha, and he's like, I'm trying to get to the cellar, because that's where my dad is. I know y'all don't get it, but the third-eyed raven took me down there. He's down there for some reason, so I got to go down there. And all y'all are scared, but I'm a cripple, and so if I'm not scared, y'all shouldn't be scared. And she finally takes him down there. And is Hodor down there with him, or is it just the two of them?
Just the two of them.
I felt like Hodor was walking behind them. Oh, okay. I thought he was on her back or something, and then
No, he was on
up again.
He was on her shoulders
back,
or something
right?
like that. You know what I would like to say in hindsight, y'all, that was very strange to me. You could tell she really wasn't carrying him. It must have been a harness or something, because she seemed like she was carrying him like he was Rickon size, on her hip and stuff, like you would carry a 2 or 4-year-old.
Yeah,
right.
It did look like she was carrying him on her hip.
Yeah.
Well, but you wouldn't carry any kid the size of Rickon, any of those kids. You wouldn't carry them on your hip like that.
Right. No.
They're all too big. They're all too big for that shit.
I think there was some CGI.
She's a wildling, y'all. She do shit. You know what I'm saying? I feel like calling her a wildling puts everything into perspective.
You win this round.
Slinging niggas over her shoulders. Yeah. She's been slinging niggas over her shoulders since she was a teenager.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, exactly.
She could probably carry Hodor like we playing games.
Right.
Almost definitely.
Throw Hodor on her hip.
She can fireman. She carried a couple of them. a couple of them dudes she came over with the wall, she carried a couple of them. Because, all right.
Right.
Ahead, but my question to y'all is there, does wildlings know certain points they can get through the wall, or do you think they all have to climb? Because they didn't, I think they know storytelling. Okay, because they didn't look like they were climbing. They didn't look like they had just come fresh off a climb. You know what I'm saying, when Brandon and ran into them. So, okay. Sorry.
So, she finally gets she gives in, he goes down there, and he's explaining who some of these people are in the crypt and all of that. His Auntie Lyanna explaining certain stuff down there. And then scary-ass fucking Shaggy Dog comes out of nowhere in a very aggressive stance, which I've got questions about. But comes out of nowhere, scares the shit out of everybody, and then Rickon comes down, and he's like, oh, hey, guys. I'm just down here looking for Dad. What are you guys doing? And Bran's like, I told you, dummy, he's not down here. Go back to wherever you play by yourself because no one plays with you. And Rickon's like, no, for sure, Dad's totes down here. I know it because I saw it in a dream last night. And I need to talk about, we have to take a pause, and I need to talk about two things. One, I thought that the direwolves were like fully dialed in to all things. So the direwolf knows if there's a threat or if these are nice people or what. Why the fuck was he so aggressive with them when that's Rickon's brother? Like, what is crippled brother? What are you doing?
I think I can answer that because there was.
I can answer it.
Go ahead. You go first.
Well, I just feel like they gave him the most fucked up name out of all the direwolves, and he's just like, he got an issue with it. Like, Shaggy Dog? Who the fuck named your direwolf Shaggy Dog? Like, I had to go Google to see what this nigga's name really was, and I was like, oh, it's really Shaggy. Okay, all right.
Yeah, no, Rickon gave him that name. He needs to be aggressive with Rickon. You be mad at the person that fucked up name. Because Rickon's the one who was like, oh, I'd like to call my direwolf Shaggy Dog.
Yeah,
I think there was aggression. They might have played the scene wrong, whatever the dog trainer did. But I think Shaggy Dog's outburst was one to be a jump scare, obviously, but it was also more so, hey, Rickon, there's more people with us down here. So more of a warning thing than him actually going to bite them. Yeah, that's what
they didn't go for continuity there.
Yeah, I think they didn't do that good a job. I think if they just had him barking aggressively, like, hey, Rickon, rather than that leap out of the darkness, because, they made that extra dark for a reason. Like, we don't even see him down there. I would like to say that this gives Rickon a lot more depth than we remember.
Because, you're taking my second question. Yeah. Hold on.
No,
because this is the second time in this first season that we have seen Rickon be enlightened and be an enlightened one. And I don't ever remember Rickon being anything to the story ever at all, except for he happens to be a Stark and alive. Like, I
barely remember him having any lines. Like,
y'all forget how much we were with him in the beginning because this whole road part, he's there too. And we're with him this whole time. Now, there was
that's my whole point.
Yeah. There's the big divorce. We don't see him. He's the only one. Is he the only character we don't see? Oh, and Bran. We go through lows with both of them later on where they're just off the show.
Right.
And I think that soaked up anything we would have. But also, I would like to say this little side part in terms of the books. I think the show was going with all the Stark children's green seed. And they must have dropped that somewhere on the writer's table because that's why you would give Rickon these extra little moments.
Right.
And then I think next would be Arya and then Sansa and Jon. I think it was off the pole.
Which the show has not focused at all on that the way that they could have and probably should have. But I just thought it was interesting that Rickon was so forgettable for so long. He actually knows that these same things are happening, and they're not necessarily the same in the way of having a vision with a raven with 3 eyes, right? But he's getting the same intel in a different form. Like, and no one, I just don't remember that. I don't remember Rickon being integral or knowing, being enlightened, anything. I just remember him being there. So this was, like, for me, like the, God dang, Rickon is White Fighters. We thought originally.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Because this is for sure the second time this season that he's proved to be in that same vein of an enlightened one, understanding things are bigger than the things that are happening that aren't necessarily normal.
I agree with Castro. I think I agree with your assessment. I think maybe they were initially going to go with all the kids being green seers, but I do understand why. If that was the issue, that was the initial game plan. I understand why they strayed from that. We really needed Bran to stick out. We really needed him to be exceptionally that much better than everyone and not have all of them being green seers. Because look at it, comparing the books to the TV show, how much time we're actually spending with all of these kids. To make them all green seers, we all need to give them different instances in which they're using the powers and developing their powers and all of that shit. And I think it would have been too much side story for each kid to make that a part of their situation.
Except for wasn't it, and correct me if I'm wrong, Castro, but wasn't it basically the pairing of the Stark children with their dire wolves that gave them that ability? Like they weren't necessarily going to be green seeing on their own. So like, Bran is going to be the exceptional one no matter what because he's the third-eyed raven. Three-eyed raven.
Right.
How do you say that?
But I think the show made a decision that the books didn't. I'm sorry, I'm not being okay. The show made a decision the books didn't, where Bran's visions are like rooted in the three-eyed raven, and in the books, their wolves had a lot more to do with it. So like with Bran, through the books they were illustrating that Bran was green seeing through what's his wolf's name? Not Snow.
Summer.
What's Summer? Yes. So there was a lot. There was a lot. Looking ahead, there are some scenes where he's jumping into Summer and then he actually does it. But in the book is a lot of him running free as a wolf, not realizing he's in Summer, waking up. There's a lot more of those scenes than just the one or two we get in the book. And so all of them in the book have these moments where they're kind of green seeing through their wolves. Arya, Jon, all of that stuff. So because the book's rooted that, if the show had to do that, either we would have a lot of weird POV shots or they would have to spend more money on dire wolves than they would have dragons. And I think that was like an executive decision.
They just made the decision. Yeah.
We're going to spend more on dragons because you notice when they really skimp on the dire wolves. Like you might see Snow running in the background. You're like, whoa, there's Snow. And then that's it. That's the budget for the show. There's no more dire wolves. Even when Jon goes through his rebirth type thing, if you watch the judicial about where they place Snow, even though you know he's over.
Ghost.
Ghost. Where they place Ghost, even though you know Ghost is there the whole time. You know what I mean? But you'll hear him growl, and you won't see him and stuff like that. So I think to finish the point, there was obviously a decision of dragons or direwolves, not both. And so if we're going more with dragons, then let's pull back from all of the Stark children green seeing. You also had, remember Jojen can green see too. So maybe there was a decision on how many green seers were actually out there active. We only saw one ward. We're going to meet him soon. But we didn't meet any other wards. And warging is a lot more common in the book as well too. Because all the Stark children can do that too. So, I think it was just a decision. Like probably just an executive, decision to just gut all that and just give it to Bran, and we'll develop other kids differently. Oh yeah, I think it worked too.
So Rickon's down there, like I'm hella enlightened too, and Dad is down here. I saw it in a dream, and Bran's like, "Go away. He's totes not down here. And go play with your toys and your shaggy dog."
It was all a dream. Sorry.
And then they're met by Maester Lewin. And then we cut to Kat walking through the battlefield.
Yeah, so Kat's walking through the battlefield, and it kind of looks like she's walking to someone, but she's not. And as she's walking through the field, all of the soldiers are, like, greeting her super respectfully, and she's not even really, like, responding to any of them. And then you see that it's, like, actually that moment where you're, like, trying to get to some place for, you know, rescue or privacy or, you know, so you can throw up or whatever, you know what I mean. And she's trying to get to this fucking tree so she can cry by herself. So she's just gotten the news of what's happened with Ned. And so, you know, it's kind of spreading through all of the land, and she's going through it. I mean, she just found out that her husband was decapitated by these motherfuckers that she hates. And she notices Rob because she hears the sword. And so she realizes that Rob is also seeking some refuge in a tree. And he's just fucking chopping this tree down with his sword. I don't even think he's trying to chop it down. He's just taking out his frustration. And she's like, Rob. And he finally stops. And she's like, you're going to ruin your sword. It's like, all right, let's all ignore our emotions.
Let's do that now. Let's do it right now.
And so they embrace each other and hug, and Rob's like, I'm killing everybody. And she's like, okay, but first, you know, they have your sisters, so we need to get them, and then you can kill everybody. And he's like, all right, word. And so that was pretty much their scene of, you know, the two of them being the only Starks together and, you know, receiving that news, watching them react to the news alone, which they think that they're alone, and, you know, realize that they're actually together in that moment. So it's pretty sad, you know. We know that Kat's a little out there and she's spontaneous and hot-headed and all of those things, but it's like undeniable that she loved Ned. You know, they weren't just some random arranged marriage where they don't really like each other, and, you know, they definitely like love each other. So that was
also wanted to say this scene enlightened something else that I noticed. So it also in regards to how we see her with John, and since we have a mother on the line, so Kat has different relationships with all her kids. It's more than obvious. This scene, and what we find out later, really illustrates to me that Rob's her firstborn, so she has that with him. And I mean, it's not anything like revolutionary or whatever, but it's just something I noticed that she has different relationships with all her kids, but there's a specific one with Rob, and, you know, mainly because it's her firstborn and all that stuff and how she reacts later to it. But I just felt like there was some kinship there with the two of them finding out about Ned, like, at the same time. Yeah. And it informs a lot of their decisions moving forward, but it was just a moment to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And I'm really, like, breaking down Kat at this moment. That's all. It was just something I noticed. But, like, I was really saying that because, you know, to ask you more. So there are, like, even if the kids are in similar ages, you do have different individual relationships with all of them, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Every kid is different.
Yeah.
Every individual is different. So every relationship's going to be different. It doesn't change the level of love or anything like that. It's just that people, you know, match what they're given. And so if you have a relationship, or you have a one kid that gives a lot and one that doesn't, your relationships are going to be different.
Right. Okay.
And I can't speak to having, you know, my firstborn kind of idea, but I think I grasp it. I grasp the idea of your firstborn being something different to you than others, and the same as I understand how the middle children get lost because the first and the last get, you know.
There's also a gender thing with Kat. Like, this is her first son, and then her second child is Sansa, and Arya, and on down, and she finally had Rickon. And I think and also in the realm, don't we also know that you hold your eldest male heirs for high regard?
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah, like I think that
like
during this time, and what having an eldest son means to the rest of your family and the health of your, lineage and all of that.
Tywin and Jaime,
yeah, like
Sam and his father. Those are really interesting to compare across the board.
Absolutely.
Or even the fact that Jon is her second oldest now. Well, not, but you get what I'm. Yeah. Anyway, yes. Sorry, I just had a whole nother thing. I'm not gonna go there. I'll hold that to later.
Yeah, can't do that one.
No, not that
one. Keep it moving.
So anyway, that's pretty much it for that scene, and then it cuts to King's Landing, where Sansa is in the Red Keep with the rest of those mofos, listening to a song.
Okay. Buckle up, y'all, because Castro's here to bring it home. So, I first wanted to say, there's a point in every entertainer's performance where they're making a decision. The decision is, am I going with the crowd, or am I going with myself? This performer made the wrong decision. Okay, so look, he's singing a song that's recently made. You could tell because some of the stuff has present implications in it, right? He could have made a different turn as he was going through the song to not piss off the people that are sitting right in front of him with the swords and the shiny things. So we have this musician guy. He's singing. He's singing for the court. Everybody's in the throne room, and he's singing a song that is not the most flattering to the ruling family and other members of court. He's going through, and everybody's kind of what?
I'm sorry. I have a theory about that, but I'll go ahead.
Oh no, you can infer if you want, because I'll get to it.
Well, later on, Joffrey says something like, "You didn't have any problem singing this in whatever bar or tavern or something you were in." Right.
Right.
Oh.
So I don't think he had a singing it somewhere else, and they was like, "Oh no, they come sing it in my face." Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I
he got caught.
Mhm.
Oh, I thought he was just being a dick, like being he's that type
now
of singer.
rewatch that scene, and you'll see where he wants to stop and doesn't want to say the next thing.
Right.
Because I had to rewind it. I had to rewind it because I was like, wait, is he saying the things that I thought he just said? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
And so
see, I took it as
rewatch it, and you'll see that he's legit keep going. Okay. So he's pausing. He doesn't want to keep going. Then he has to keep going, and so I think definitely that he was singing in a tavern. One of the Lannister bannermen or whatever heard him singing it, captured him, brought him, and was like, "Oh, sing that shit right now." And he didn't have the choice.
Yeah.
To give a remix, like that wasn't an option.
Yeah. Okay. The full disc record.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. It wasn't that pivotal moment in his career where he took the wrong turn in front of the kids.
The wrong turn might have been writing the song in the first place.
Might have been writing
exactly.
the wrong turn.
Okay.
Right, like.
Am I also no? It's two disconnected things. I was wondering if this was the bard that joined Catelyn on the road way back when. Probably not.
So probably not.
And Am's boy. Nah, probably not. Remember, we don't think he survived that whole hill tribe people attack.
He couldn't.
Right.
No.
Definitely not. Now it's not fighting people off with a heart. All right, so we have this excruciating scene. So I digress my overview. We have the excruciating scene where this singer is forced to sing some song that he shouldn't have sung in the first place.
Right.
A lot of alliteration there. So he got caught. So they're making him sing it in court in the middle. Joffrey's just sitting there, smug as a son of a bitch. because at these points with Joffrey, every second that he exists just hurts me. And you know what I'm saying? I didn't wish death for him, but every second he's sitting there, so cocky, swaggy, so young, petulant. You know what I'm saying? He's like a '90s teenager, and I just like hate every moment of him. So he's sitting there, he's swallowing up his whole song, and the guy finishes, and he's given a choice, and he said fingers or tongue. You know, and the guy's like, huh? And it's funny because I see the guy, and this is great acting. He's processing how he can continue on as a singer without either one of those things. And that's the whole irony of the punishment. Joffrey knows you can't go on singing this drivel without either one of these things. But which one do you think would be the one you could take, so living your life, or whatever life you can cobble after this?
Yo, I was like, my left hand, take my left hand. Do it.
Right.
It's yours. It's yours. Have at it.
I have the next part, so I'm just going to roll into it and just talk about it all at once. It's kind of ill because Joffrey makes the guy choose, and the guy swears. Does he swear he won't sing the song again, or he swears he'll never sing again? I think he swears. He swears off the song, correct?
Yeah, off the song. Yeah.
Okay.
I think
so he swears off the song.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So then Joffrey starts making his way. Then Joffrey says, "I'm finished, Mother. You can handle the rest of this thing." So there's also this funny thing of Joffrey really thinks he's in charge. Like he really thinks he's in charge. And my curiosity is, where did he? I mean, this is his own personality coming through, but where did he learn to rule this way? Because I don't think. Oh, do you think he got this from his father?
Yes.
Wow.
Okay.
Good point. Yeah.
I think he absolutely did. Plus the fact that he is just a lunatic.
You're right. Right. Because I'm still I'm watching.
Let's not forget the innate portion of his psychosis.
Right.
He is the.
We're still trying to rationalize it as a petulant kid, and also we've seen.
Yeah, but he's also the product of incest. That makes you fucking different. Your brain is going to work different.
Yeah. And we saw the last example was Prince Robin of another, so the young men in the realm they're not faring too well. Theon. Right. And so then we all see all of them got a problem. Rob, John. And he says, I'm finished for the day. So yeah, something definitely he could have learned from his father, like, I'll let y'all handle this. But it was still kind of flippant, I didn't like it. I mean, everything he's doing is rubbing me the wrong way, but I didn't like it. Like, I'm finished. Mother, you can handle these. Handle the rest of this peasantry decisions. I'm gone. I thought he flipped his hair. Right. He probably didn't, but it felt like he flipped his hair. Right? He starts walking off. Oh, you look lovely. He sees Sansa. He's the worst creature alive. Come with me. And he summons Sansa. And this is what I was going to say. So if you notice, they shot it beautifully because they kind of blur in the background, but you see the bard is in the background being held down and his tongue being cut out by Sir Ellen.
Right.
And they have it blurred out. But you see him not just, they cut his tongue and you see it spitting blood out, just dealing with it. They just let him go and he's spitting all his blood in the throne room and he just has to figure it out. Now, it's funny, not funny, but I think they just leave him like that. Like, yeah, you figure it out. There's no tending to that wound. There's no sending you to the school of the tongueless. You know what I'm saying? And Sir Ellen is getting his rocks off.
No, those be resources, Castro. When somebody fucking tortures you, they don't offer you follow-up resources.
I know.
But go see someone down in HR, figure out your health.
Yeah. And here's the guidebook on how to live when you just had your tongue ripped out.
If you have any questions, our number is on the back.
Right.
And we don't know if this works. We don't know if this works for everyone, but there is a support group, and you might want to look into it.
You might want to look into
it. Okay.
Here's the pamphlet for that. Oh my God, I'm sorry, y'all. That's funny. So he summoned Sansa, and who's the guy with them? The guard that's taking all the orders that slaps Sansa and all those other
It's what's his name? It's the same jerk that went to fight Syrio.
Right.
It's the same one that got promoted. Is it Meryn?
Meryn Trant. Thank you.
Yeah,
Meryn Trant. Arya has history with too. Yes, Meryn Trant.
Yeah.
And this actor is good because he wears this disgusting face, and every time I see him step up to do something for Joffrey, he has that face on, like a rat, like one of the evil rats in American Tale, and you know, Bible. I love that movie.
I was gonna, you know what? I was gonna say, for the benefit of the listeners, I was going to mention how I'm really surprised we don't get more American Tale references from Castro. This is the first.
Wow.
This is the first podcast. Yeah, because this is the first podcast I've done with Castro, and we had done interviews and things before, but so there hasn't really been a platform for him to discuss American Tale for anyone else to know how much he loves the show. So what I'm saying is, just being his friend, he finds a way to weave American Tale into a lot of. He loves this show. He really loves that movie.
Now, mind you, I would like to clarify. I love the first movie, American Tale. I didn't like the next one too much, where he goes like to New York and big city. It's kind of weird, and I didn't like the series they came up with. But the first movie, I know all the songs by heart when he's singing to his sister to the moon. It's a harrowing tale.
Such a good song.
A boy that turned into a man looking for his family to reunite. It definitely made me more sympathetic to Russians and the Eastern Bloc and their issues. It did a lot for me. I'm sorry, and made me a fan of communism. It did. It really is a great movie.
How did we get here? Let's get back on track.
Sorry.
Thanks,
Afro was enjoying every second of that. Yeah, she wished she had a button that she could press. They would electrocute a nigga, but she doesn't. So we just have to move on.
Right, it doesn't work.
She's been pressing that prototype for years. You want to know what she's really working on, tech head? There it is. That's a super secret project. All right, so Joffrey's like, hey, girl, come on. You looking good in that, whatever that is. I don't care. I'm being a dick, but I'm going to fake it. Come on. Follow me. And he takes her out to the I guess the moat area, outside wall. He wants to show her something.
Yeah, that sounds good. The moat.
Yes. Now, does Sansa ask immediately, does she have a choice to come, or she just kind of blindly follows? She blindly follows, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He says, I want to show you something. And she's like, oh, all right.
Because I think there was a surprise on her part that he was even talking to her at that point. Because, he had looked her off. And she tried to look at him lovingly and stuff like that.
That,
right?
And she's coming fresh off of him having lied directly to her and saying all is going to be fine. And then he killed her dad. And he wasn't like, sorry, babe.
Right. He wasn't like, my really bad, I had to do that.
Right.
He just
I had to change the heart. Nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah,
he was just like, oh, that dress is tight. You want to take a walk?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Meanwhile, she looks like death. Like, there's nothing about her that looks good. Like, he's like, girl, you look so good today. And she's just like, my dad died yesterday, and my eyes are bloody and puffy, so.
Like, if you gentlemen understood how eyeliner works, like, whether you're using a pencil or, like, liquid liner, she looks like she used a red eyeliner, like, on the inside of her lid.
She looked like Drogo. Remember how Drogo's liner was fucked up?
Yes! Like, it was like, what exactly
happened? I don't know what we're talking about now.
Well, all I'm saying is that her particular eyelids were so red, like, around it, that it was like, this is an infection level cry. This isn't like,
oh God,
I'm just sad. Like I imagine that's what you look like when
And she also passed out. Like, lots of things have gone on.
Like, lots of things have gone on. She's lost oxygen. All things.
Yeah. She's had a moment. And he's acting very oblivious. Oh, whatever. I'm Joffrey. And
no, that's because she had a moment, and he had a different kind of moment.
Yeah.
On two opposite ends of the spectrum. They both had a moment.
That is true. He definitely got his rock. Well, we don't know.
He's involved in orgasm now.
Yeah, let's be real. He had a full on. He had a moment out there. Like let's be real. We know that later on that's his jollies, but yes, he definitely had a. When he dropped
He had a
Yeah. Word to Teddy Riley. He had a
Oh shit. Oh shit. Did you just take us to No Diggity?
Well, we just got exactly to No Diggity.
Boom, boom, boom. And we didn't know yes, he had a full on moment from doing that, and so he's reveling in this, is what we're saying. Like he's getting all his jollies off. He's actually, we don't know, but he's fantasizing about she's gonna be his torture slave forever. He has all types of machinations just to keep her around and do things, give her her brother's head, give her her sister's head, whatever. He just wants to give her a head. When he says I want to give you a head, he means it literally and not in the way that we just mutually enjoyable. So
or want.
Very
don't nobody want the kind of head he gets.
He's a very strange boy, and he's definitely
very upset. Don't nobody want that.
I just wanted to be real clear. Don't nobody want the kind of head he gives out. Like I don't want that head. I don't want. That's not what I'm ever asking for. I don't want that kind of head. No. No, like that's the last thing I want is an actual head on a spike. Anyway.
Thanks, no thanks.
He takes her on a walk to give her some head.
Good work. Good ass.
She brought it right back around.
And he's handling, as Morgan would say, all the housekeeping on the way. He's like, so, like my mom said, you're going to bleed soon, and then I'll give you a boy. And then after that, we'll get married around then, too. And she's just like, the fuck? And then he shows her that he has absolutely no mercy and takes her, again, I like that, Castro, they're walking along the moat. And he takes her to where he has her father's head hanging on a post, along the moat. And he's like, basically like, he said something to her, and she snapped right back at him. And that was a moment.
He was asking her to look. He was telling her.
But no, the thing he said is he makes a comment about her brother, and she flips.
Right, he's like, "I'll have your brother's head there next." Right, because he's like, "There's your father, there's your scepter, and I'll have your brother up there next." And she's like, "Not if he doesn't have you up there first." And he's like, "Bitch, what you say to me?" And I was like, "Yeah, Sansa, I forgot you, was not fucking with the shits, right away. I thought that she still maybe had a couple days of, trying to run behind him and shit. I couldn't exactly remember what Sansa was like other than sad. I couldn't remember how she was towards Joffrey. So, that was it was a real cool moment. And then I guess she says something. Joffrey's like, yeah, my mom says that you shouldn't, a man shouldn't hit his lady. So, homie.
Boy.
Jerome.
Boy.
Jerome. My.
Jerome.
And I have never seen a nigga that has nothing to do with it be so happy to slap the shit out of somebody.
Man.
She was like, okay.
I can't wait. I can't wait. No, I can't wait. She got bro, he had his glove off already. He was ready to go.
Gladly. Come here, bitch. He slaps the shit out of Sansa.
Yeah.
And
didn't he give her the double take right then? It was like the backhand both ways.
Was it two? Was it a doozy?
I thought she got a doozy. She didn't get a doozy.
It was a doozy. Yes, it was.
It was a dude.
I thought she got a doozy.
When women start getting abused, I black out after the first strike.
Right.
So.
Right.
I can't even remember.
I'd be looking for every single detail. Like, okay, how many times did he strike?
Right.
How many times do we have to take his eye out to make this okay?
Right. So yeah, that happened, and he like legit slapped a little more sense into her, because then she's standing there and she like focuses in on Joffrey, and she's like, I could just run over there and push him off this cliff real easy and move on with my life. And she proceeds to do that shit. And the Hound is like, hey, girl, come here. Let me give you this napkin.
You need this
tissue. Down.
Take this tissue real quick.
Right? Like, the shit's dirty, but I wasn't planning on cleaning other people's bloody noses today. So there you go. And so I can't even remember, like, how that scene ends. I don't know what else Joffrey says. I feel like he threatens her. Yeah, tell me what happened. What did he say?
I don't remember what Joffrey said. He was kind of like
Joffrey said something else to her.
Definitely, he did, and it was more like, get your whole shit together. Like, get your life, because what you won't do is approach me like you just did.
Right.
Get it together all the way.
In front of my man.
Right. But he didn't notice at all.
In front of my man. He didn't
notice
that,
at all.
What about the Hound?
But you tripped over.
Right, I know what the Hound says. But what I'm saying is, Joffrey didn't notice at all that she was about to fuck him up. So,
no, not at all. He didn't notice that.
And then he just was like, get your whole shit together. And I guess he walked off. And then Sansa tries to give the napkin back or the handkerchief back to the Hound. And he's like, girl, you're gonna need that for a bit.
A lot. You're going to need that a lot.
You're going to need that a lot. And and then what else does he say to her?
No, he was like,
give him what he wants.
Yeah, your life will be a whole lot better if you just learn to give him what he wants. And then he was like, and go and keep that handkerchief, because you're going to need it a lot. Clearly, you hard-headed. I just watched you do some dumb shit. But you jumped over one thing, which was he snapped back twice in that scene. And the first one was the one that you said, and the second one is when he's telling her to stare at the heads on the spike.
Right.
And she's just kind of staring off into that, general vicinity, and is like, how long do you want me to look, my lord? Like, I mean, I could do this all day, too. I'm not really here for your fuck shit, just like you ain't here for mine. Fine, I'll stare at it. How long?
Right.
That frustrates Joffrey a bit, because he wants her to be jostled. So when she doesn't, it's just like somebody whipping somebody for the scream, and when they don't scream, it's
like, well, what the? So now I got to get a dog to bite you? Like, what are you doing?
Right. But it goes into their sadomasochism as well. Like, they need the pain to give a reaction, otherwise it's not giving them whatever that's.
Right.
He's a masochist. We clearly know that. Moving forward.
He's not a masochist. He's a sadist. He wants to see other people hurt. Masochist wants to get hurt. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted to be clear there. I'm
glad you cleared that up, because I ain't know.
So yeah, that's pretty much it for that scene. And then we hop over to, where do we go after that?
Hop over to where the Starks are, wherever the hell they are. They're on the movie-ish.
The north.
They're in the north, but they're not home. Like, they're just.
Don't we get this general thing of in the north is a bunch of places? Because at first they're like, we're in the north.
Yes.
Here and there. They never really.
But it's still cold, so it's still the north. It's just all the north. So they're discussing what has happened. All of the northern forces, the bannermen to the Starks, and all of that, and they're discussing all the shit that's happening. And okay, so we don't have a king now. Well, I guess Joffrey's king, but that doesn't seem right. And there's a whole pecking order. Let's talk about this pecking order. And someone's like, well, we're bound to the Targaryens, so what are we going to do? And it was like, wait, someone else was like, hold on, guys. Why are we bending our knee to anybody else anymore? Like, we were bound to the Targaryens. All those guys are dead. Who are we bound to? Fuck this other shit. I don't know those people over in King's Landing, and I don't care. So the only person I see that's my king is Rob, and he's the king of the North. And the king of the North is born.
It was Stannis, and it was Stannis they were talking about.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the Targaryens.
It
was the Baratheons.
It was like Renly, Stannis. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they definitely said none of them are fit to rule for different reasons, and Renly's on the run ish, and
and they were just like, it doesn't make sense because Renly can't rule before Stannis.
Right. And they're like, even if he's a better ruler, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, like Stannis was like, no.
It was also a discussion of whose cavalcade to join. Because remember, they were like, should we join up with them? Should we join up with them? And this is a pivotal moment, y'all, because if they did that, this thing might have ended a little different. If they just joined up instead of being so splintered and just attacked, King's Landing and all that, of course, I think this thing would have been a lot different.
For sure.
Yeah, they would have wiped the Lannisters out. Yeah, they'd been all right.
But that's the whole function of the War of the Five Kings and all that. There was never going to be that.
It was never going to happen because everybody's fighting each other.
Right.
But yeah, so they make all of those determinations. If these other people aren't worthy and they're not fit to have, for them to bend their knee to. So it's all about, let's fuck with the people that let's keep this local, guys. Let's keep our village, and let's just talk about Rob as our king, and that's it. And Rob loves it. He doesn't love it at first. At first, it's like, wait a minute, guys. No, that's not how. Oh, what? King of the North? Say one more time? One more time? It doesn't sound half bad, guys. It doesn't sound half bad. Like, he switches real quick.
Does him and his mother give each other a look? Does that moment happen?
I don't remember right now. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, I don't remember them exchanging glances. Okay. Could be wrong. Yeah.
Now, Theon is in here, and what does Theon say during all of this? I don't remember.
He like gives a big grin, like.
He comes at him like,
isn't he like, this is it?
He starts with like, are you my brother? Are we not brothers? And Rob was like, for forever, to the end of time, all that good stuff. And he was like, all right, then, I pledge my sword to you. And I'm like, man,
that's
like
right.
you really went hard just now, only for you to be a dick later. Like you could have just, you could have just rode out the way you were continuing to ride out, but you wanted to make a big scene about you pledging your loyalty, only to be a super dick later, dog. Like, bruh.
There were some people in the room that didn't do the full-on pomp and circumstance, make the whole vocal declaration, and then got on their knees. So Theon could have really done that, considering he's going to be like a dick later. He could have just, he didn't have to be so theatric.
He could have played the background. He didn't need to get on fucking bended knee and pledge his sword and say, I'm your forever blood brother. Let's be best friends outside of this after the war, okay? Please. Yeah, he didn't need to do any of that. So then we get, does anybody have anything else on that one? Because we move right into some greatness. With Cat paying Jaime a visit when he's tied up to the tree. Whatever he's got going.
So Catelyn gingerly, gracefully glides over to Jaime. And Jaime's being his usual charming self. Doesn't he make an offer to like have sex with her? Is that what he initially does?
That's exactly what he does. Okay. Yeah.
I just want to make sure.
He goes right there.
He's being a little poetic with it. He goes right into the harassment. In today's world, Jaime wouldn't survive. He would be up for charges right now with his behavior. And he definitely would. He'd be one of those people. Oh, Jaime Lannister.
He would definitely have to step down from Senate. That's
he's like, all right, I'm stepping down to improve my personhood and hopefully learn from these mistakes when I was younger, whatever, blah, blah, blah.
But no, I think Jaime would be more like Russell Simmons. No one would be surprised. No.
Like, yeah. Like, we know. Jamie Lannister? Yeah. Yeah. We know that. We knew that was coming out of
the 90s?
And
the 90s were what?
Right. Oh, that was a whirlwind, right?
It was a whirlwind. Yes, it was a whirlwind. You could barely even breathe all that.
I don't even remember what was going on. So what did I do? I grabbed your pussy? Oh, I'm sorry. Here's a letter. Here's a letter of apology to my lawyer.
I've sent a Raven apologizing to all those women.
I apologize. So. Yeah. So, and correct me if I'm wrong, so then Catelyn gets the rock and makes him pay attention, right? She gets a rock in her hand and smacks him with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's like, stop playing fuck boy. Smacks him with the rock. And that kind of wakes him up a bit. And then it's kind of interesting how she breaks him down kind of quickly to him admitting what happened in the tower. Except this is also real poignant, y'all, because so Jaime's admitting that he pushed the boy out of the tower. She goes, why? And he says, I hope that the fall would kill him. And she goes, why? And Jaime stops short. And he always stops short as long as Cersei does not give him the okay to publicly just sing to the heavens about us. And he doesn't admit that Bran saw them. He doesn't do it at all. He just kind of just takes it. Now, mind you, he's in a compromising position, so he kind of gives Kat reason to believe that he's not lying, but she doesn't know he's not telling the full-on truth because he's tied up. She's beating him up with rocks. You know what I'm saying? He's at a disadvantage, but he still is controlling the conversation because, again, he won't give up his true love. He's not, like, laying Cersei out there at all in what he's confessing. Because at first I thought he was just doing it just to rile Kat up. But then when I, watching it again, I'm like, oh, shoot, he just told everything. I didn't remember that he just said everything right there. So that was kind of,
But everything was still nothing because he didn't really say anything. He was just, he told the truth. But
yeah, right. No, yeah, he didn't get to the core
like,
of it.
Why? And when she said why, it was the most genuine why, because she was so tough. And then he was like, I pushed him. And she was like, why? It was so genuine and maternal.
Yeah.
And but when she said why, he was like, well, because I meant to kill him. But that's not really an answer as to, you know what I mean? Like,
right, no, yeah, exactly. Like I said, he wasn't giving up Cersei at all. He was being truthful, but what she really wanted to know, he didn't give her. And again, remember, y'all, she found one of Cersei's hair up there, not one of his, when she went digging and scratching and searching. So he still didn't give up that part. And then she walks off, right? That's how that scene ends, right? She kind of walks off, a little disgusting, or
because he's pretty much like, she wants to know more, and he's like, look, it's late, and, it's going to be a long war, so we should both get some rest, pretty much.
Yeah, so he shuts her down. But again, that goes to show you, and it gives you a hint that, like, he's, him and his sister, this union is unbreakable. He won't give her up, and he's not budging on that fact, even though we as the audience know a lot more than the characters do. So,
and it's about more than his sister too, right? Because it's about his father. It's about the family. Like,
he's not going out as no chump. He's a Lannister, so he definitely gonna act the part. But he's been trying to irritate them since they captured him. Right.
What'd you say?
And that's that part. But he's been acting petulant since they caught him, right? He's been acting smart and flipping at the mouth since they first had him.
But this is who Jaime was then as well.
Right.
Definitely.
Right. Yeah. Even when he challenges Rob,
pre-Brienne,
he's all smug, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pre-Brienne, Jaime.
Okay. It's interesting because there's not even a remnant of that anymore now. Like when I think of him with the golden hand, I'm really thinking about. I forgot all of this smugness, even the way he used to have his hair. Like the look he had when he challenged Ed in the courtyard, when he was being all smart with his sword. He hasn't had that look of overconfidence in a sword fight since then. You know what I mean? And so that look has been wiped from his face for any other interactions. And it's very interesting seeing Jaime early on because I'm literally looking at a whole other person. Okay, so now we go back to King's Landing. into a room draped with a lot of drapery, and we see Cersei reading a letter.
Yeah, so Cersei's reading a letter, and what's his name, Lancel?
Yes, Lancel.
Yeah, it's Lancel.
Yeah.
He's like sitting on the bed, and I can't even remember everything he's talking, but he's definitely on some, like, you want to go another round, and, like, what's up with your cousin? Like, he's just talking about all kinds of other shit.
Too many questions.
And she's like,
too many post-mortem questions. Way too many,
Right, exactly. And, like, strategy kind of questions, like, what we doing next? Like, how we going to handle this, boo? And she's just like, nigga, first of all, she's completely, you got just that background chatter when something, like, you get a letter in the mail or a check in the mail, for real, and you like, word. You, like, super focused on that, and you can hear some noise behind you, but you don't realize that a whole person is asking you 50 questions, and so when she does, like, hone in on what he's saying, she's like, nigga, shut up. Like, no, go to bed. And he does.
Yeah.
He just
go to
goes
the bed.
In the bed. But the information that she's reading is learning that Jaime has been captured. And she's, obviously worried about her boo. Even though she's currently sleeping with her cousin, she's worried about her real boo, her brother. And so that was just a quick, like, in and out scene. Does anyone else have anything to add on to that?
No.
Again,
okay.
It's just real quick. It's really just refreshing to see how Lancel is now into what he turns into. Like, these people are like not these people anymore from season 1, and you forget, some of how they looked originally when they started. It's kind of funny.
So then we jump to Tywin's tent where they are talking strategy.
Yeah. Real quick. I know we harp on this a lot. Castro, no issue here with the incest. It was just boom, 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 and we're good.
I'm not, like, what do y'all want me to do? Like,
I just want to know where
you are the incest police, and we want you to go off every time there is an incest incident.
So, I mean, well, this one was like, because it's such a quick scene, like you said, you're still trying. I remember when I first watched it, I was like, wait a minute, was that the cousin? Like, she's doing so much. I always would look to my side, and nobody's even watching the show with me, and I'm talking to myself, and I'm like, who was that? That was the cousin? Like, what's happening? Like, it's just a lot going on so quick. I think the fact that they forced the incest down our throat, like, bam, this is it. I was forced to just deal with it like that as a reality of this realm. Even if I didn't want to. Like, I feel like,
okay, so as
like
opposed
being
to Daeny and that growing into something.
Right, and so it's like, ew. So it's like, ew, when it's a secret, but it's like, this way they make it like everybody knows, the whole realm knows except Tywin, and it just is what it is. So now, I ain't gonna lie, I was attributing the behavior to Cersei, because when I seen her with Lancel, I was like, oh, now not that it makes sense, but this is what she does.
Cersei,
you know what I'm saying? How many family members they got? This is what she does. She just uses them this way. It seemed like it normalized her affinity for it, especially seeing her with Lancel, and he just looks like nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't seem like it was a matter of, let me have another strapping man in my bed. It was like, let me find another blondie.
Another Lannister.
It's just another Lannister in her bed.
Yep.
Man.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Good to know.
Thanks a lot for doing that, Ambush. Why you got this nigga
needed that.
Are you dumb?
Are you dumb? Are you dumb? There's a skinny nigga in her bed. I mean, come on, dead ass.
So we cut to Tywin. He's in tent with commanders, and they're strategizing because they got the news that Jaime has been captured. Tyrion, I think it was that Tyrion mentioned, because I think someone mentioned just, what was it, going after Rob's camp at that exact moment, or did someone recommend a truce? Someone recommend trying to make a truce, and like that would have been a lot easier to do had knucklehead, my knucklehead nephew, not killed Ned Stark. Now, forget about it. There's no truce. There's no agreements or conversations we can have at this point. Rob is fired up. He has Jaime. It's a wrap. So they were all talking amongst themselves. Tywin loses it. They got my son, people. They have everybody get the fuck out. You guys don't understand where I am right now. He kicks everybody out. And Tyrion's like, well, let me just take this opportunity to roll out too. And Tywin stops him and has a little one-on-one time with him and tells him that he wants him to go to King's Landing and take his position at the hand of the king. Tyrion, of course, is confused because he's like, why are you asking me to do this? And Tywin says, well, at the end of the day, you are my son. Here's the thing, Tywin. Don't nobody think you give a fuck about Tyrion. This whole tender moment you're trying to, it's very manipulative because it feels like, Tyrion takes a little bite of that cake. And he's like, oh, man. But at the end of the day, I am his son. He just told me, so I believe it. He wants me to do this because I'm his son. Nah, you
don't think that he knows? Well, I mean, you don't think that he knows that his son will do well at the position? You don't think there was a little bit of that?
I think he believes that his son will do better than Joffrey, but also he can try to use him as a wedge. He needs more people that think better than Joffrey down there in an official capacity.
Right.
Ciri doesn't have an official capacity down there. She thought she would be able to manipulate Joffrey. Joffrey's like, I am king because you said I could be king, and now I'm king. I don't want the shit you have to say. But by installing Tyrion, and you have the council, the hand of the king is a pretty significant position. And Tywin positioned him to, be able to pull some strings. And, I'm sure everyone
Tywin may know how Tyrion talks to
that's where I was
Joffrey.
going to go next. Yes.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
that's where I was going to go next. Everyone pretty much knows. Yeah, Tyrion is the uncle with the back
that doesn't take his shit. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't take it. We're not going for that shit.
Well, obviously, because his other uncle is his father, so he he acts a certain way. Well, we know that. We know that there's a certain handoffness when it comes to Jaime and his kids. So so Tywin doesn't even admit that Jaime's his father, but he's thinking, okay, out of the two uncles that he has, one is captured, and I need to send this one down to rein him in so we can recover the one that's captured.
Right.
That's all I got.
So there were a couple other points that kind of led into you a little bit, MJ. But there were a couple other points.
Indeed, you did.
Tyrion. Yeah, I'm in full Castro mode this evening, apparently.
Wow. Wow, I have a name. I'm full Castro mode.
Yeah, it's a verb. We've all Castroed each other a time or two.
Wow.
It's a verb.
I like that Castro is fully pulling like someone else right now and acting like he doesn't know that is.
I know,
right?
Oh, right. Here she is. Right. Here she is. Waiting for her. Right on time.
Like, that's definitely pulling up my mom. My mom will definitely be like, "Oh, me? What? I never did that. I do that all the time. What are you talking about?" Like,
yeah, you need to admit it.
I've never done it. I always do it. What's the problem? Like, that's what you just did.
Yeah.
But I digress.
We all digress.
Right. Well, before the scene ends and before Tywin rolls out, he was like, "And listen, you're not taking that whore with you. So, to get all that foolishness."
I did not know Shay was in this. I didn't know Shay was in this so early. I thought she came around like season 3 or 4 when he was actually.
No, that's when she leaves.
Right.
Yeah, she there.
Yeah.
I totally did not know she was there since season 1.
Tywin was very specific, and Tywin said, "You cannot bring the whore to court," which to me meant she can go to King's Landing. she can certainly absolutely never be seen with you.
I have a theory.
Okay.
And we can never prove this theory, but I feel like, so when Shay popped up, Tyrion was like to Bronn, like, yo, where'd she come from? And he's like, she was in one of the other tents, like with someone else. Like, I wonder if she was fucking mad people there, and one of them was Tywin. Because Tywin was
that
so
early?
specific. Yeah.
That's
like,
very definite.
But, all right, but remember there's also a thing about Tywin, and not just whores, but you see how
Tyrion
and
whores, though.
It's Tyrion and the drinking, too. You see how he doesn't let...
It's all of the things that Tyrion does that Tywin disagrees with. It's all of it.
Right.
It's the drinking, it's having sex with whores, it's going to brothels, it's all of the rock star life that he lives.
Yeah, that
is
all
not the valiant life.
Right. And I mean, I think it's mostly because Tyrion is not discreet about the shit at all. So I agree with you, Morgan, when you say he was very specific, like, don't take her to court, like, don't trot her around. But I think it was also, like, I might have been fucking her too, and, like, you know, I don't want her there. So, because we all know what happens in the future, so I wonder if they had a moment beforehand. As like a little thing.
I would like to posit that they probably are multiple whores when they make camp. There's a lot of men there.
There has
like,
to be.
They only show us like 5 or 10 men in these big armies, but when they pull back, there's a lot of tents. So there's definitely
for sure.
commerce set up. Yeah, so it's probably a couple of whores, but I wouldn't put it past, you know, like he said, I just went and grabbed her from, I don't know, Sir, whatever his name is. You know, so definitely she could have been working this quadrant.
Right.
Set up.
Or she could have been with him once, and he could have been like, I didn't really like her too much, whatever, didn't think about it, but then learns that she's with Tyrion and is like, you know.
We take Tywin to be above that, but we learn later that Tywin does, you know, partake in whores. We don't take, you know,
Tywin's
we
extra
do
petty. Right.
Yeah, he's extra petty. We learned that earlier. Yeah.
Yeah, super petty. Yeah. So there's a lot to dig in. It's kind of funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. So, you're right. He was very specific about not taking her to court. What led me to believe that he just didn't want her to go with him at all was based on the conversation they have later on. So we'll get to that later. So basically, after this,
I think you're right about that. By the way, I don't think that Tywin was ever like, yeah, no, I mean, she can totally come with you, but she just can't go to court. I'm just saying that because he was so specific with that, to me, that, like, and the way that Tyrion thinks is like, well, I mean, you can come, but you just can't come in the house. You know what I mean? It's like, you can come over, but we got to sit outside. Like, that's what...
You can never leave. Right.
You can come over, but I can't come off the porch. I can't come
I'm gonna come out. Yeah, I'm gonna come out to your car. We can chill in your car, but you can't come in the house.
Oh man!
Wow.
Yo,
man, that's a throwback.
Throwback, right?
That was so real. I can't have no company, but I can sit in the car with you.
Oh yeah, like I can come chill in the car.
But I gotta keep the light on the porch. Sit on the front. I don't know anything about this stuff. I grew up in an apartment building, so you can come hang out in the hallway, but you know I can't go outside.
Real talk. Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it matters that much what kind of home you were in. It was really more about what you were able to do or not able to do.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, the nouns changed a little bit. Like I say, I can't come outside. Like, you could chill with me in the hallway, you know.
But there was always they pushing that element. It was, you can't leave the porch. So what does that mean? That means we're standing on the steps, which is off the porch, but still connected.
But still on the porch, right?
Yeah.
You push it to the
right. I'm not out the yard.
I can't.
On the porch.
I can't be out. But now mind you, I can't be out in the corner. I can't be out in the corner.
No.
That's definitely a violation.
Right.
But as long as I'm in touching proximity to the porch that I'm limited to, we good.
Yeah. You need to be able to hear your parents' voice from inside the house. You got to be close enough to the house outside that you're within earshot. You know, you don't respond once, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. They got to come to the door and see where you are. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
Okay, let's get back on track.
Thank you. You know what?
was going right there. So next, Afro, we got Daeny. Daeny awakens.
R.I.P. Morgan.
We gotta get back on track.
Morgan,
but yeah, okay.
We got ambushed tonight, Morgan.
It's cool to get back on track. We want to go back to that though. I thought it was happening. Let's get back on track.
Now you know my life. Now you know my life, man.
Here he goes.
Come on, guys. Yeah, come on, guys. Reel it in. Reel it in so I can slander you right quick. Like, okay, yeah. Come get this slander, B.
Come get this work.
You have been Afro, man.
I've been Afro. I've been Afro. All right.
Join the party.
Anyway, Daeny awakens to losing everything. Pretty much like the war is over. Like everything has happened and she was asleep. She's like, oh, well, did I have my baby? Did, how things go with my man's surgery? Like, girl, you slept through all that shit. So.
She had the best notes of the poppy.
Yeah, exactly. So Jorah is like, about your son, the witch said, I want to see him. Where's he at? The witch was like, well, the witch said, he was. So the witch pops up out of no fucking where, and she's like, oh, he was completely disfigured. He looked like this. He looked like that. And she goes on to what I still think is
he was a lizard dragon baby.
Yeah, exactly. And
I think she was exaggerating though when she was describing. It just felt like that, like she was trying to turn the knife when she was talking to her.
Yeah, I mean, she definitely had zero remorse. That was very clear, and it definitely seemed like she wanted it to hurt,
Right.
And so Daeny was like, well, okay, so my son isn't a thing anymore. Where's my man? And they're like, oh, yeah, about him. And she's like, nah, I want to see him. And they're like, And she's like, no, I want to fucking see him. So she gets up. They take her out of the tent. And she's like, it looks pretty thin around here. And Jorah's like, yeah, well, without a cow, it's hard to keep these folks around. They follow their cow. And she's like, okay. And so they take her to Drogo, who is like, they've somehow deciphered that he prefers to sit in the sun. And I have no clue how they drew that conclusion.
They like it. He just like it.
That is
really loves it.
Out, okay? She's like, what is going on? Oh, my gosh, she hugs him. She's excited to see him, but then she's, like, trying to talk to him, and I'm like, you should have known he had nothing to say. Like, look at his eyes. Once again, this eyeliner. So, clearly, he's got nothing. And she's like, what's wrong with him? And why is he out here? And they're like, oh, he prefers the sun. And I'm like, bullshit. And they're like, yeah, you told us that. So Dany's like, I got questions. Like, what the fuck is going on here? You said that you was going to, give him life. Like, you call this life. This isn't life. And, the witch pretty much plays her. She's like, she's like, I don't know what the fuck she says. When will he be back to where he's supposed to be? And she's like, when the sun rises the opposite way and the fucking mountains sway in the wind, that's when he'll be back. And Dany's like, okay, hold up. I'm going to need y'all to leave us alone so I can talk to this bitch real quick. And they're like, Jorah's like, I don't really want to leave you alone with her. I'm not really trusting her. And she's like, nope, I have lost everything. Baby, check. Man, check. So me and her need to fucking talk. And he's like, alrighty. Yeah. So, then they go on with their discussion.
So Dany's like, tat, what the fuck, man? She's like, dude.
You owe me some money now, nigga. Here.
No, nigga, here.
Oh, God.
Fuck, bro, like, this definitely didn't go the way it was supposed to. And she's like, no, it definitely did. I had no plans on doing what you wanted.
Right? I had nothing. You totally misread me in the situation that I was in.
Yeah, the witch is like, Sam, I never even said I was going to do what you wanted me to do. You're so entitled, you just assumed. Remember when you thought you saved me? I had already been raped like 3 times. Like, you didn't save me from shit. Those guys are the official worst, and you didn't do anything until you thought I could do something for you. So, yeah, I didn't plan on ever saving you, man. I didn't plan on ever giving you the things that you wanted to, or you wanted me to. And this is just another one of those moments of Daeny being like, wait a minute. What? You can't be serious. So yeah, the witch gives it to her. Only life pays for life, and that happened. I'm still a little annoyed that no one was like, also, Daeny, you came directly in the tent when we told you not to. You weren't supposed to come in the tent. This is why I also...
The witch says it. The witch does say that.
Oh, does she say it?
Mm-hmm. She says it earlier,
and then also,
when everyone else was around, before she came clean, to basically be like what you said, I had no intention to help you from the rip. But she tried to put blame on Daeny. She did
break it down from the beginning. Okay.
Right, yeah.
That
was
but this wasn't hearsay, too, right? Remember, I know it's a TV show, but there were definitive wails and powers going on when she cut that horse. Like, it wasn't just the horse screaming and, that horse is dead. And it was like, whoa! I remember, I was like, oh, shit, I forgot that.
No, the spirits were there.
Yeah, I forgot that was actually real. Yeah. Yeah, I forgot.
Were alive.
When I saw it again, I was like, oh, shit. Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like, all of them were there. It was a full revival. All of the spirits.
Yeah.
I didn't remember her pointing that out, which was, to me, like the easy out. She would have never had to say, I didn't plan on doing this. She could just be like, fam, you fucked up the whole thing. And that could have taken Dany's life down a whole different course. But, anyway, the witch is like, yeah, bro, you definitely had something in mind, and I definitely knew what that was, but I also wasn't ever going to do that. So I didn't, you're not going to get your man back. You had a demon dragon baby. And I don't care if those are her exaggerating or not. You're a person that has a child and you never see it. You're going to believe whatever that person says happened.
Yeah.
Because you have no clue. So Daeny now believes that she had a blood magic shadow dragon baby.
Dragon baby. Yeah. Yeah. That was terrible.
But
credit to you guys, because I remember when we first came across the witch, and you guys were saying from the rip she never planned on helping them. I was placing a lot of blame on Daeny for walking in during the ritual, saying everything was going according to plan until she walked in. I was just,
nope.
Like, wow. I was like, yeah, Daeny messed that up. Like, why y'all hating on the witch, John? Like, come on, chill out. But no, it's
the
true.
witch is there to help. Yeah, no, she made it very clear that I will
say I gained a little empathy for the witch, hearing her talk about everyone she lost in the town. Like, she talks about her baker and about, her the kids in the town and village or whatever. Mm-hmm. And like, okay, cool, you saved my life. I had already been raped a few times, which, whatever.
And I didn't have no friends.
But my friends already. I'm supposed to go back to living my life, and like, what is that? I don't have these people that made up my life and fulfilled my life, and like, that's what I wanted to show you. Like, cool, you got life, but what does that really mean? And so, it's interesting. If the story was centered around the witch, we would be cheering for her. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right.
So.
Yeah. But it's not, and so you're just like, bitch, you fucked up. You should have said from the beginning, I don't want to live, or, don't take me on.
I ain't got to help you. Right.
I ain't about to help you. Right.
Right.
Yeah, which she certainly never did, and ruined everything in Daany's plan, and in her mind, all her shit was ruined. But she certainly got the understanding that their perspectives of what Daeny was looking for was completely different, and that she wasn't ever going to have gotten that.
Yeah.
And again, I think like just right off of what Afro just said, it's still the same. Like Daeny doesn't understand that. Daany's like a kid that doesn't understand that her parents had a life before she was born. Like, she doesn't get that all of these people had full-fledged lives before they were conquered. And she thinks she's being the person that stops the conquering, but the conquering has been happening for so long, and you legit just rode through as the queen of it. And until there was a moment that made you pause, everything else was totally fine going on around you.
So it's like, because she's having these big life-changing moments, she feels like she's, transferring that to other people. Look how much my life is changing. Now I'm bettering your life when you haven't actually done that yet. And that's Daeny going forward for a while, is just seeing her fumble and stumble with this particular issue of, I'm the breaker of chains and I'm the one that fixes everything for all these downtrodden people, but I haven't fixed shit for anyone yet. Yeah. So anyway, so then we're with Sam. Yeah. Thank you for giving me this, Castro.
You're welcome.
Pleading with John not to leave, and as a note say, this is the highest I've ever heard Sam's voice be. This is the highest pitch he's ever communicated anything in, other than when he was squealing like a pig when he first arrived at the wall.
Wow.
And they were kicking him. Then it's kind of what happened, though. I'm not jumping forward. I'm jumping back. I feel like we covered this in previous podcast episodes.
There's doing the most, and then there's what you're doing right now.
All right. Sure. For sure. For sure. So then,
killing him softly with Patty. Killing him softly.
Patty.
So John's still like, listen, I'm going to do what I got to do. This is my family. Father's dead. I got to get out of here. I got to roll. And Sam makes a valiant attempt. Well, I'm not going to move. Sam gets moved. Not that skilled too much right now. Sam gets moved. And then John is away. Bam. So then we cut back to the Lannister camp, and Shay is talking with Tyrion as they're packing up.
Yes. So Shay is packing, and she is upset and confused that she can't go. And so this is just such a real nigga moment where she's like, so, like, I can't, like, he said I can't go, and he's like, yeah, like, Tyrion's like, yeah, he said you can't go. She's like, so he was like, Shay can't go with you. And he was like, yeah, actually, I think the words, I think the words were like, you can't take that whore. He's like, oh, so I'm a whore, like, so you're ashamed of me now? And he's like, I think he just, like, laughs because she's just adorable. You know, this is one of those scenes where you just, like, you really love Shay. And he's, like, laughing, and she's like, oh, so this is funny. And he's like, it's not funny, but it's just, kind of funny, like, Anyway, whatever. You know what? I'm putting my foot down. You my girl. And you know what? Fuck it. You coming with me. And so she's like, all right. And she just, like, jumps on top of him and gives him a little probably a little something, but, you know, a kiss. And so this is, I think that, like, in the larger sense, it's a little symbolic because this is, like, a definitive moment where Tyrion is doing the exact opposite of what his father has told him or asked of him. And, you know, he's consciously making a decision to do the opposite. And so you kind of know that he's going to pay for that later. But at the moment, you know, he getting some.
Right.
And, you know, and Shay likes him. Like, you can tell that, you know, she likes him. She doesn't just see him as, like, her client or something, you know.
But she's still getting paid.
Yeah, she's getting paid and getting paid in the lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you can still tell the difference between somebody who just takes their money and rolls and someone who actually, like, likes you.
True.
And is getting paid.
His relationship with Bronn is a prime example of that. But her whole thing of being like, oh, so I'm a whore? You don't get to do that. No, come on. Like, you know what this was, B. Come on.
You know what you are.
Yeah, that kind of.
I know what you are. Like, let's not do this, girl. Let's not do this. Are.
Let's not. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
So, yeah, and after that, then we cut to realizing that Sam is following Jon in the woods, and he gets hemmed up trying to stop Jon. Right.
So we had Sam. What's the other two guys' names?
I always forget their names.
Yeah, Castro.
Gran and Pip.
Pip, yes.
Pip and
Gran. They're
Gran.
on horses, and they're chasing down Jon. And Sam gets knocked off by a tree limb. Smooth. And the first thing, he hits the ground hard. No, impacts the dirt. He smacks it, and then debris goes flying everywhere. They were very.
Hold on, wait. You gotta bring it back, Cumberline. You didn't describe that he's riding a horse, and that's how, like, he gets nearly decapitated by a branch that he didn't duck under. Because everybody else that went under that ducked under, and he
was
fully missed.
I thought he was in front.
They were chasing Jon.
No. I'm saying they were chasing Jon, but it looked like between the three of them, Sam was in front. Maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, of them? Sure. I don't know. I thought that it doesn't matter. He didn't duck.
Yeah.
No matter what,
he didn't duck.
There was a branch in which he needed to duck, and he just didn't move. He was a solid state human.
Yeah. You know, he's not that skilled.
Full impact.
He hits the ground. And they, you guys might want to check out the bonus footage for this. They shoot this from a couple angles. You know, they kind of do like a Bad Boys, Bad Boys 2 slow-mo move where he hits the ground. The impact is incredible. And then all this dust and debris goes flying up, and you see his cheek smack the ground.
That is not in the bonus content.
No,
that is not in the bonus content, listeners. That is not in the bonus content.
What are you guys doing? It is. Better yet, you don't know.
I was legit going to go to YouTube. I really thought this was a thing.
This is just, like, not true. So these are the moments where we have to, like, listeners, we have to stop it so that you don't go down a rabbit hole
that we all have gone down.
When we know that it doesn't exist. He's making it up.
You don't know, okay? You don't know.
Don't do
that. Don't do that.
You know what? Yeah.
Are you dumb? Are you dumb?
Don't
do that. Are you dumb?
Just happened.
All right, fine.
Boy. You know, boy.
Fine.
You know what's on there.
Fine. He gets knocked off his horse, and the first thing he says is, and you can't deny this, equally as idiotic, did we get him? What are you talking about, Sam? Sam, what are you... Did we get what? Are we chasing down a stag? What is your problem? You got You're on your
can't. Look, I understand all of these things inferred you have, and I get it. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Like, me and Morg really have nothing to say. We're not excluding you, Am, but me and Morg have been on this mission to try to reaffirm and recalibrate Am's position on Samwell. And no, Sam doesn't do well for himself. But me and Morg had the foresight. And we had the foresight to realize that we knew this character had some redeeming qualities. And
he was more important than you would allow him to be.
This is what it actually is. You guys
I can't wait to know how you're going to tell us.
It's a very common thing. You guys love underdogs. That's why they write these types of characters.
We weren't rooting for him.
You were in love with... You were in love with the square peg trying to go in the circle hole. He just doesn't fit in. How's Sam going to find his way? You guys were in love with him.
My God. There was no way we paralleled your, infatuation with Benjen, who we didn't even fucking see. We were just talking about a character we knew at some point would come around. He was young and grown. We knew we would see his maturation within show. You didn't see anything until it actually happened, and you had to give it up.
Right.
And he didn't give me anything to say prior to that.
He didn't even give it to him when he should have, Castro. He didn't even give it to him.
Don't bring up the White Walker. Don't bring up that.
Even in the moment that should have made Am go, okay, you know what? He is better than I said last episode. We can't even get that out of Am.
And the call the day after, and we used to do those calls the day after. We started that call. You was like, and don't start me with what he did. He left the bag. You were all about everything he did wrong.
Yes.
You know what? I can't wait for us to get to this episode for the rewatch. I love it because you guys are going to see him for the accidental White Walker killer that he is, and maybe you'll bury this guy. Maybe.
We won't.
Maybe you guys.
But I will say this. We ain't gonna see no Benjen. We ain't gonna see Benjen in all the episodes between now and then.
That was unnecessary.
Yeah.
That was unnecessary.
But
we ain't gonna see no Benjen.
Also, if I can also add, accidental or not, does he kill the White Walker with the dragon glass or no?
I think he does.
Is that what you want to do?
I think he does.
Is this Trump's America?
Castro,
is this how low the bar is?
Is this Trump's America? Is that what you said?
You know what?
Yeah, that's how low the bar is. That's how low the bar is.
Yes. Go ahead, Mark. Go right ahead, Mark.
He absolutely positively killed a White Walker with dragon glass, gave us all sorts of shit right then and there. It doesn't matter at this moment, Ambush, if that was on an accident. What it did was catalyze his whole fucking shit. His whole shit springboarded. Okay?
Boom.
And you refuse to give it to him, and that is silly. That is you living in Trump's America and his administration, and you're Sarah Huckabee Sandersing right now, and that's some bullshit.
Boom.
You got any more booms, Castro? A couple more? Some more bombs?
Boom goes the dynamite,
Drop the
nigga.
bomb.
There it is.
Drop the bomb.
Please forever use that as a drop from here on out. Somebody.
It is. Drop the bomb.
That's the dopest shit I've ever heard.
But listen, don't worry. Just stay in the journey with us, and we will get there together. And y'all will all see the glory.
So, Sam gets himself dusted off, and John has to turn back because he feels sorry for almost killing Finn for just riding in the dark. He almost killed this guy. And they're like, listen, he's like, turn back. You guys gotta go back.
About Sam.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So like, you guys gotta turn back. And they're like, no, we're here to save you from yourself. You have to come back with us. We're gonna cut the bullshit. You understand what you're going through, but you're a man of the Night's Watch. And they go into this barbershop quartet situation, and they start singing, what was this? They start doing the creed, the oath that they take. And John's just like, fuck. You know what?
It's like the Harvard fighting song or something.
The what?
The Harvard fight song.
Right. So I was like, you know what? Okay. fine. Come back. Fight some White Walkers. Somebody's got to take care of you, Sam. You're going to kill yourself. All right, fine. And then he turns back around. It feels like I covered this for everybody? You guys happy with that one? Okay. Good. Next.
Wow.
So we cut to Daeny back with Drogo, and she's still trying to come to terms with what's happened.
So Drogo's laying there like a vegetable, and he's out of it. He's gone, and she's just lamenting over pretty much her mistakes and the part she had to play in this. No, I don't care. She's all crying. She's lamenting the part she had to play, and she starts saying affectations and reiterating the nonsense that the witch said to her when the sun rises in the east and when when the mountains sway and do the hula dance or whatever.
In the wind.
You know, in the wind. You'll come back to me and all of that. But she's really saying goodbye. I didn't get that at first when I was first watching the scene, but then she said goodbye. She put the pillow over his face and extinguished his life. Right then, she's probably deciding what she's going to do. Like, I think when she killed him right there, she's like, okay, boom, I'm gonna strap him up, strap her up, give me the eggs.
Yep.
I'm doing all that. I think she made her mind up right then. It was a touching scene, and it's so not funny, but again, we're seeing a mini arc with Daeny, because if we're watchers and we're virgins to all of this, we seen her be the Khaleesi. We thought this was how it's going to go down. You know, they're going to get the army. They're going to come back to Westeros, and all of that went down in a puff of smoke in a second, because, you know, the night before when all of the Khalasar was there was hundreds of people in the Khalasar, and then she wakes up and there's 50. So it is a little heart-wrenching for her to go through that. Also, we lose one of our great characters. Is this the first major character death? No, it's not. It's Sarah. Sorry.
No, we lost Ned, you know.
Yeah. Sorry. I know it was all a bunch. I was just thinking out loud. Oh, my bad. But, all right, so there's another major character that we assume, right, that these guys are going to go on for a couple of seasons, and they're gone. So,
Definitely.
You know, Ned and now this. But also, we're as the episode is going on, we're also realizing how the show gets down. So, and we don't know it all fully, but we know that episode 9s moving forward are going to be wow. And episode 10 is always the fallout epilogue version of what's happening. So then we, for some reason, and I still don't know why, we go to a scene with Pycelle and Roz and shit, right? I don't know why, right? So they're finishing whatever they're finishing or whatever. Maybe she's smacking his balls, whatever. I don't give a fuck. And he starts in on
yeah, he said that. He starts
in on and the thing you need to know about Kings is, right? And then he starts rambling on, which is fake anyway, because he's faking his fake, right? And he's like acting like he has no train of thought. And I really shouldn't have gave myself this scene because I hate his ass to the core. And he's just going on. She's getting dressed. He's getting dressed. And then we get to the part where we don't know if she's paying attention because he's just talking or whatever. And then we get to a part where, and it's funny because I do this with my mom, and then she's like, so what is the thing about Kings? And he's like, huh? And she's like, that's how you started this whole thing of the thing you need to know about Kings is, and then you didn't get to it. And he goes, but mind you, so she leaves. We realize he's faking the whole time. So
wait, calm down.
Sorry.
You're skipping all the beats.
You're about to ambush yourself, too. But that's...
Oh, come on, guys. Oh, come on, shit. Come on. Can a Castro ambush himself? Come on.
Sorry. Sorry, I should have put down again. I thought, okay.
Yeah, you was on, like, gone. Yeah, you are skipping the deeps. I do want to just rewind for a second because, like you said, he was rambling in the beginning. But he rambled for so long, you didn't even realize, like, that there was someone that he was there with and talking to. Like, it was just, like, a long time before you actually realized that he was in the room with someone, and that someone was Roz. So that was definitely interesting.
My bad. Sorry. So there was the introduction that he was with her after he. Does he say any gems about any particular kings when he's talking, or is it just gibberish? I can't remember. Does anybody remember if he said anything? Did he drop an Easter egg or anything? I don't think so. I don't think he did. But yeah,
he was passing compliments about Joffrey, saying he looks like he has a solid military mind, and I'm just like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? It's like you're trying to convince other people that you made the right decision to ride with the new administration. Nah, he's trash.
Also, he wants those whispers to get back to him too. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So he's complimenting Joffrey to also insulate himself. Because remember, out of all of the council members, he served multiple kings, if I'm not mistaken, not just the last two. He served a bunch more, maybe like 2, 3 more. So he's definitely a chameleon in the sense that he's going to survive. And that that goes into the next scene when she just asked him, when she asked him what is he talking about, and she gets frustrated and walks out. And it goes to the next scene, which is
old boy takes a look, stands up straight, pops his back a little bit, does a couple bending exercises, and you come to find out this whole shit is an act. It's a charade. He's playing these games with everybody. They take us through his ritual. Get my chains and get my robe, practice my hunch real quick. All right, get back in motion, and then I'm out the door. I didn't remember this scene happening this early in the series at all. I thought this was like midway, like maybe season 3 or 4 or something. But no, they gave us this very first season, dudes faking. Try to remember that, guys. I forgot. It didn't work. Try to remember that, guys. Every time you see Pycelle after now, he's faking. He's faking his coughs. He's faking his inability to read well. He's faking his walk. He's just a big piece of shit. And it's interesting for them to give that to us, but then it never really, they never make a point of bringing it back later.
It makes another point, and this is I'm not even going ahead. It's an added scene that I think, depending on where you watched it, like sometimes I watch it on the stick, sometimes HBO. You saw it. If y'all remember, there's a scene where Tywin is fishing, and Pycelle walks up to him to talk, and Tywin is pretty much like, "Do you have to keep doing that?" And then he kind of lets all of it go.
Are you serious?
Straight. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, man.
And Tywin straight up says to him, like, "Do you have to?" Because he was like stumbling with the word. He's like, "Come on, all right." And then he straightens up. He said, "All right, I'm sorry, my bad." And he just talking normal to him and shit.
What?
And then when they're I can find the scene. I'll link it. I'll put it.
Yeah, you gotta link that
and all that stuff. And then and
it's
funny because when they leave, he gives him. He's like, "Can you carry that for me? Can you carry the basket of fish?" And he starts hunching over and starts walking slow when he has to follow him carrying the fish. He goes right back to him.
Not really.
But they're out on the beach. They're out like by how King's Landing has all of that waterfront too.
Yeah.
So Tywin is literally out there throwing a line fishing. And so it's funny, it's not him standing, it's when he starts mumbling. And he says, "Come on, man, do you have to do this?" And he's like, "All right." And then he starts talking normal and shit. And then they finish their conversation, and then when they leave, he hunches back over. Yeah, I'll find it. Yes, I saw that. It was it's
that's,
like a
cut
scene they had. Yeah.
That's
indeed. So yeah, I think it's a couple seasons later because it's when Tywin is in King's Landing this happens. So yeah.
Right. What are you gonna say, Ash?
So I was gonna say a couple things for me is it reminds me of is that movie The Illusionist?
Yep.
About the magician, and there's one older magician with a fishbowl walking with that, and so it's kind of like that, like how you got to keep up that whole facade.
Isn't that the
Prestige?
Nah, that was an illusion.
Oh, the Prestige.
That was the Illusionist. Was it?
It's the Prestige. Sure? No, it's the Prestige because they're talking about another magician. He says he's been selling that. Yeah, yes,
exactly.
Years, decades. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So how that whole trick has to be a part of your whole life in order to to make it actually work. And so I feel like that that's what that scene says about Pycelle, is that, like, this helps him get everything he needs on a regular basis. And so he plays into this, even though he's this able-bodied, strong, individual. And then the other part that was interesting was he didn't pay Roz, right? And, like, he was talking so slow, and he had annoyed her so much that when he was like, you want me to walk you out? I can walk you. And she's like, no, I'll get it. I got it. I'm out of here. And so, like, he gets over all of that shit. Like, he can annoy the fuck out of you to the point where you're like, don't worry, Venmo me later. You know what I'm saying? Or, like,
right.
Yeah.
So I think it really speaks to, like, how he gets his way with all of that shit, even though it just still seems like, why are they showing us this when it doesn't really, like, why this early Easter egg when it doesn't really, like, manifest anything until much later on. But that's where
it definitely gives him his out. Like, if you're being infirm like that, people ain't even gonna ask you to do shit. Like, they won't. I won't ask you to grab this book from me because I know it'll take you all day to shuffle your ass to my room with the book. I'll come to your office and get it. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying they can pass messages, but there's definitely millions of things that happen like that where they don't ask him because they don't think he's able-bodied and he, playing that to his advantage. And this actually scene infers me to how I feel about him moving forward. Also, I knew he was a fuckboy from this scene forward. I remembered, like Av pointed out, that he didn't pay because there's a couple of other situations where he don't pay, and he just plays it like a fiddle, and it's like, fuck you. And I'm glad what happens to your ass later. And we'll talk about that with revelry and grace when we get to that point.
So I wonder how long he's been carrying on like this. You know what I mean? How many kings has he served for being like, a young Morgan? Like, you've just been old your whole life, dude. Like, how does this work?
When he came from the Citadel, it seems like even though he served a lot of kings, he was old when he came from the Citadel. Like, let's say Sam Jackson age when he gets his first role.
He was playing old when he came from the Citadel.
Yeah, no, most definitely. But I think, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, over time, it wasn't that hard to keep convincing people that I'm even getting worse. But he probably came from the Citadel with some age. Like, I guess when you get into politics and you're older in your 40s, 50s, he probably was that age when he started this shit. And then he started seeing, because he's not the only, person of I'm going to say, don't we get some reveals about some priests and their fuckery? You know what I'm saying? Using these positions to their benefit and, acting. Whatever. So he probably, this wasn't his own ingenious idea, but he definitely saw what was working and maintained a position on the council with it too. Because look, Joffrey fired Sebastian for being old, right? So why wouldn't they fire his ass for being old? Because you're a maester? Fuck out of here. If you notice, he gives a lot of people, I don't know what's wrong with him. Give him Poppy, he can go. He was about to do that with the mountain. he did it with Robert. You know what I'm saying? How many people? He did it with Lord Aaron, right? How many people he said, I can't do nothing. Give him the Poppy, let him go.
Sure. Yeah. So, yeah. And no one looks to him as being divisive or someone they even need to worry about. He's just an old and firm old man. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so then we cut to Varys and Littlefinger going at each other. I don't remember how the conversation started, but I think it was Baelish asking him, like, did you ever find the guy that took your balls? Well, I wonder where your balls are. Like, where are they?
Right. That was how the conversation started.
Right, and I wondered if it was, like, he was like, was it the balls or the twig? Like, I always wondered.
Oh, that's what he said.
Wait. Isn't this the first, the tower and the stones? Isn't this the first
pillar and the stones? Yeah,
pillar and the stones. Yes.
What do you? That's what he says. What did they? So what do you have now? I've always been curious about this. The pillar or the stones. And Varys like, that's you. That's what you do. You think about my balls. See, that's what you're doing. Walk around thinking about my balls. That's what you want to do. Cool. And they go back and forth at each other's heads. This is the second time we've seen them in the throne room exchanging little insults. Can anyone remember how the conversation ended? I remember this being really quick. I don't remember what the turning point of the conversation was, or if this turned into something even more than them discussing where Varys' balls are.
But no, because somebody else comes in the room and they turn around.
It's
so
Joffrey.
It wasn't. It was Joffrey. Okay, so it wasn't. Yeah, let's meet. So it wasn't that long a conversation, though.
Okay. So then Joffrey came in the room, and then they went to his chambers. Like, I remember. Was there something happening in the room?
They just cut to the next scene.
They just cut to the next scene.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they went back and forth for a while, but it wasn't.
See, I think what's happening is what happened with me, and I keep wondering, is this the Chaos Ladder conversation? And then we didn't realize it's not.
It's not.
No, because they have a bunch of throne room situations, but I always thought, this is it. And then because there's been 2 more before this, and I thought those were it. So I think we're just kind of waiting for that. So when we see them there, we kind of just trying to remember, is this it? Is this it? Is this it? You know, we're just remembering the whole series. That's what I think. So.
Right. All right, so then we cut to Arya. She's out there with one of our faves, but she's discussing, or getting on the road.
So Arya's there. We get to see her new hairdo, and she's a boy, and she gets a new name. Her name is Ari, and she's asked about that name. She doesn't say Toby. She doesn't say Kunta Kinte. She says Ari. And Morgan's been quiet for a while. Yeah, okay.
Triggers, man. He just triggering left and right.
Triggers, right? So they're walking down, and she's thrust into the population that she's now going to be a part of. She says, doesn't Yoren say something about stay away from those guys in the cage? And we get a good look at some characters we'll get to know a little better later. And then she bumps into Hot Pie, two characters. One character. Oh, we get to know both of them because I think, we get to know both of them, but we recognize Hot Pie, and he's acting big and scary. But to me, what's scary the most is both of them are really dirty. These boys are really dirty. They have dirt on their face, in their eyes, really dirty. So, even though they're threatening her, I would just worry about infection. Get the fuck away from me. You are so dirty. And the good thing about the two of them is they immediately take she's a boy. So they start taunting him, and that's good because that helps with her little disguise illusion that they're trying out. So they start bullying her and bumping into the ground or whatever, and then they start asking her about, that's a nice sword or whatever. You get to know that they're actually looking for whoever is smaller than them because they've obviously been bullied, hence maybe why they're so dirty. And so they start messing with Ari, and then she pulls out a sword, and then she threatens him. Well, no, first he bumps into Gendry. We meet Gendry. He's dirty too. I'm sorry, it's hard for me to tell them apart. They all have, I don't know, why do you have dirt on your face? Don't you wipe your face? Even if you're working, won't you splash water on your face or wipe your face or something with your sleeve? So they don't wipe their face. And so Gendry gets into the mix.
They don't wipe their face. Sorry.
Gendry gets into the mix. And Arya, but doesn't Arya also pull the sword and threaten Hot Pie, saying, "You're not the first fat boy that I've killed"?
Right. Yeah.
Right? She says that. She pulls, so you're not the first, which is true. Which is true. She starts, with needle and stuff like that. But then Gendry gets in the mix, and he's intimidating them as well. So where I'm from, bullies get bullied. And
it was good. It was good to see Gendry. It was good to see Gendry.
Yeah.
It was.
Right. And another word person that I didn't, even though they're getting stuffed into episode 10, I didn't know he was in season 1. You know what I mean? Your memory does a lot of different things when you think back to a show you've been with for 7 years plus. And he likes Arya's sword. He takes notice of it. But then they just mentioned that they're about to hit this road. I forget exactly what Gendry says. Somebody help me with that.
You forgot
what? Did Gendry say to Arya?
What did Gendry say to Arya?
Oh, he was like, that's a fancy sword because I know about steel. Where you steal that from? And she was like, I didn't steal this. This is mine. And he was like, yeah, all right. But he was just pretty much like, I know what that is made of or who made that, because I'm a blacksmith.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I did notice he was carrying that boss ass helmet of his on the way out.
He had that way back then? Okay, so yeah. Oh,
yeah, he was carrying it on the way out, yeah.
Yeah, Ned made mention of it when he he showed it to Ned. Okay. Mm-hmm. And that comes into play a little later, too. Good. Mm-hmm. Okay. So next we go back to the wall.
Back to the wall.
Lord Commander.
So, John's on IHOP duty, serving Lord Commander's breakfast, and he's like, ham again. Like, Lord Commander, I feel like you know where you are. You're not at the Hacienda store again. You're not.
It's not the Continental. This is not the Continental.
Yeah, you're not getting the Continental. You're not getting the waffles. Like, you know what your options are. You get a banana, get the yogurt, and then go to your rental car. You don't have too much, like, you're bugging right now. Ham again. So he basically lets John know that he knew he was out running the street. What's that? Who's
sorry.
Castro, is that you?
Sorry, yeah. Sorry.